So, Adam, you want to hear some interesting facts about John Cena?
Sure.
Did you know his 16 world title reigns took place over 12 years? The total reigns is a combination of 1,409 days for WWE Championship and WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
That's it. Tim, wait. Are you going to give me the same cold opener as the last show, the new show?
Well, what do you expect? We were about to record the new show and we didn't have a cold opener. I came up with one. It fits better here. You get one. You want two? You come up with it. Now, can I continue with this or not?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's time for As the Buckle Turns, the conversation.
That is not going to be the fucking name.
Okay, it's going to be us having a conversation, though.
As the Buckle Turns convo?
You know what?
We'll work on the title.
We'll let the editors do that.
We'll come up with something.
I'm Adam.
I'm Tim.
And we're going over the problem with Charlotte Flair.
True, but let's just explain quickly for any of the listeners who've listened to the podcast that usually it's over an hour and a half long.
Yes.
We're trying something new. We're breaking up the news, and because we like having these conversations.
They're great. The problem is most of the time we don't do them on the air because we run out of time due to other stuff.
Because we have a breakout news week where or we just have short news weeks and we go really, really long-winded.
Or we've got predictions and or results.
And or we just can't keep track of time, even though it's right in front of us. Or one of us.
No idea what you're talking about.
Well, when I was in Florida, it was in front of both of us. So.
And somehow we still would go way too long.
Exactly. But so we're trying something new. Predictions will be its own show going forward for a little bit to just test this water.
Yeah.
See how this is going. And it also just makes editing a little bit easier
for you.
Yes. And because Adam doesn't have to do the editing and have 3 shows to edit, where it makes sense to do one long show.
Yeah.
I'm editing 4 once I do fantasy booking.
Yeah, but that's only 4. I'm sometimes up to, well, when I was doing As the Buckle Turns as well, 7.
But also with fantasy booking, I can do that as all at once.
Yeah, you can store a whole lot of that one.
Yeah. But anyway, so today we're going to be covering the conversation called about Charlotte. Actually, this goes back to one of the 4 conversations we were going to have a few weeks ago, and then a certain someone decided to die.
I mean,
sorry. I mean,
really?
It's very painful, but yeah, we were going to have a conversation about. It was really shorter conversations for this very light news day.
Right.
And
then became a very heavy news day.
Because we discovered that Brody Lee passed away.
Right.
And we were going to push these things off, and then we had our awards. We had predictions for Wrestle Kingdom 15, which we will eventually go over that show. It's just we gotta watch episode the night 2. Yeah. At some point we'll get there. Probably not next week because we have predictions for. We have predictions for WWE. That will take 10 minutes.
So we probably should talk about.
If we can get through night 2, we'll do it probably next week.
Look, I have.
But
I got some time off this week that I could probably watch it on.
I have fantasy booking I'm working on, so I'll probably just put it on the background and pay attention to it. And when I have a match I really want to pay attention to,
there we go.
I can take a break. But anyway, let's get on to this news with Charlotte, because Charlotte was one of the topics we were going to talk about.
Right.
And it all because she had just come back from a long hiatus, which was great because
yes,
she
was fan burnout was happening
long before then.
Yes, but still,
she deserved a break overall,
right,
for how consistent she is. But she came back in the most obvious spot to win a championship she has yet to hold, to give her that Grand Slam.
Of course.
And kill a storyline that was the whole payoff of Lana
Uh-huh.
being put through a table
every week.
So, and then something happened about a week ago. Someone mentioned it about Charlotte on line. Charlotte decided to respond
Yes.
to an article. She had some good points in the article, counter to the article.
So what was in the article?
The article was basically just talking about how she's overused.
Yes.
And always in the title picture.
Right.
And just shoved down our throats.
Exactly.
Everything we've basically said.
So it's very valid.
As basically, when I sent the article to you, you said, I agree with
I read
every
that.
single thing in that article.
And at no point was it actually bashing anything.
No,
it was just going, these are the facts. These things have happened.
Yep. Charlotte's response was stuff like, "This. Why am I always the type of card? Because I'm that good." She is that good.
Yes.
She's other things like one of our other criticisms, which kind of backfired. Maybe not towards the people who wrote this specific article and that the where it was posted. I don't know anything about it, but not necessarily. But she said, when was ever an article like this posted about John Cena, Randy Orton, or another man? I'm like, I don't know about that specific people if they've ever posted one.
Right.
There are many people who've criticized John Cena at the top of the card.
Yes.
For over a decade.
Yes.
There are people who we have covered that multiple times. How we got sick and tired. We were sick and tired of Cena.
Yes.
And so it's not the same case, but yes, it's very unlikely that there's not as many.
Oh
as
no,
there
probably
are
not.
For Charlotte, or even Becky was starting to kind of get there because her run was running.
Yeah.
On thin ice by then because they had no real challengers.
No. She got put in a situation where it was there had been such a buildup to get her to the top spot that they forgot to build up anyone else to challenge her there, and it just kind of fell back to, oh look, Charlotte.
Yeah. Not even that. It's the fact that this is what happens when you don't build anyone else beside Charlotte, Bailey. Well, no, not Bailey.
No.
Becky, Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. And then put them in a match.
Yeah. Those,
yeah.
And sometimes Sasha and Bailey, when you absolutely have no choice, like when both Becky and Charlotte left. Even though they were doing already some great work before then, you just like, oh, we can use that, and no one mind that you overbooked them because they were underbooked and underutilized for so long.
Right.
Like Becky was before her big the man push and everything. But then when you brought in Shayna Baszler, who was supposed to be that big next challenge.
Yes.
That if she lost the belt to Shayna, when she came back from being pregnant and having a kid, it would have been a way to fire her back up.
Right.
And have a challenge to overcome instead of when she comes back, who does she have the challenge to overcome? She didn't even drop
Sasha?
the belt. Yes, but no, because she beat Sasha in the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Bailey hasn't been used well since she's dropped the belt.
Yep.
Because they're not the people they want to be at the top. And that's the problem with their women's division. But one of the things that we talked about, we didn't do the cold opener here in full.
No, of course not.
The reason why I've had a problem with Charlotte is since she has won championship gold.
Yes.
There has not been a year that she's not gone without gold.
Wow.
Since she first won gold over 6 years ago on May 29th, 2014, every year she's won gold at least one time. Actually, by the time she dropped the NXT Women's Championship, she won the Divas Championship by that fall of the same year. So she's technically never gone without winning championship gold more than twice. Sometimes multiple times in a year.
Damn.
If she did not return at TLC and win the Women's Tag Team Championship, 2020 would have been the 1 year she's only won championship gold once.
What the hell? Oh.
Out of her 12 single championship runs have happened since 2014.
It's 2020.
Yes.
2021, but 2020 just ended. That's 6 years.
Yeah. Because they had her father is Ric Flair, 16-time world champion. She has to get there because she's a Flair. She's got to continue the legacy. Okay.
You don't have to do that, but
you don't necessarily have to do that. People aren't going to look at her as a failure if she doesn't hold as many championships as her father. But if you do, that is the best option to go. You don't have to do it in 6 years, 8 years.
Yeah, you don't have to do it as fast as possible. We joked, not to step away from Charlotte, but I have to step away from Charlotte for a second. We joked.
How dare you? Anyway,
joked about New Day.
Yeah.
In the pursuit of the
record.
The record. And we were just like, haha, very funny. They're going to just start to hot potato the title with them. And they've been kind of hot potatoing the title with the New Day, but they did it in a way that stretched it out for, 2 years?
Yeah,
now?
and they still haven't broken the record.
No, but there was a point where we're like, so they're going to drop it to the Usos, and in about a month, they're going to pick it back up.
They're going to break, because there's
Then they're going to drop it again.
Because the idea was New Day first broke the longest tag team record.
Right.
And then now they said that they wanted him to break the Dudley's record of the most tag team belts, championship reigns. And that was of
11.
11.
Yeah.
Was it 11? I thought it was 10. No, well, I'm thinking of the Intercontinental, which is 9.
Right.
That's the Miz, who's probably gonna break that one. But yeah, so they wanted to break that, and then because that came out that they were thinking about, and the idea was like maybe but they would only a 3-time champion, and they were starting to exchange the belts with the Usos as which was a great feud.
But it jumped them up to 7.
Nope, not that
6.
They are, I think they're up to that level now.
Right.
In 2020, but this was we're talking about
2017, 18.
2017 when this was happening.
Yeah.
So it was 2018, I believe it was.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was 2018 because it was right around the Hell in a Cell, big Hell in a Cell. This was right before I left for Florida, I believe, too.
But they were only at 4, 5.
4. No, they were they came to 4 around that time. So they had a long way to go, and that's when they said they were thinking about New Day being the one to break the record. And that's when you joke, no, they're going to do it by WrestleMania. They're just hot potato.
They're going to hot potato it all the way there.
I don't think so. Watching, yeah, they
didn't.
I agree. There's a possibility they could do that, but I'm I don't think that would ruin the point of the title reign.
Right.
Even though it's the tag team titles and Vince doesn't care about it, but I think Vince does care about the records.
Right.
There's one thing Vince does care about. Records mean something.
Surprisingly.
And if you cheapen them, regardless if it's something he just cares about. But going back to Flair, look at John Cena. We've joked. We don't want John Cena to be the person who breaks Flair's record.
No.
Even if he did get 17-time world championship reigns, he wouldn't break Ric Flair's record because his is actually technically around 21.
21. Or 23. I forget. There's
Flair has gone back and forth. Flair, the last I saw, he said he's more certain it's 21, but he does say there's a possibility of 23.
Right.
So I just go what he most likely says. So I saw 20,
because
21.
he's still going. Well, I don't know who, because a lot of them it's the NWA one, and he's like, there's 2 times that I dropped it and picked it back up, but I don't know if that counts.
Yeah. So he usually settles more around 21.
Yeah.
But because WWE recognizes 16, that's the big number to break.
Well, because it's the WCW belt and the WWE belt.
But the WCW belt, he did not help. If you just decide to rely on WCW, you can't count that. He doesn't have 16 times.
No. It's one of those weird things that I'm like, so you guys just go, these 5 don't count.
Yeah.
For some reason.
But the NWA does count when you want to help him get it's weird.
Yep.
But he did that over a long period of time. And
what? Over a 20-year career.
He did it for over a very long time to get there. Cena, we joke that we don't want him to be the one to break 16, but it took him over 12 years to get that level.
Yeah.
And his last world title reign only lasted a month.
Exactly.
Before he dropped it to Bray Wyatt, who then dropped it to Randy Orton at that terrible match at WrestleMania, which should have been a lot better.
Yeah, that should have been a better match. That's a hard one to watch now.
And then Randy dropped it to Jinder Mahal because they were trying to make a big Indian star who's from Canada.
Like they did some bad decisions.
In a short period of time, they hot potatoed the title twice.
And they moved it. No offense to you, Jinder, but you weren't at the level of even Bray Wyatt at that point.
No.
Okay, so they just moved They thought the Randy Orton rub was going to work. Anyway,
yeah.
Charlotte Flair. We got to stick to that.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is how we talk about conversation, but we're referring to things. But and comparing, and this is like 6 years, 12 title reigns, single title reigns, and then the tag team title, which they're going to try to put in there as a world title.
It's going to count
towards the 16.
Yep.
Which Ric Flair's tag team titles do not.
No, they don't.
So if you do try to count that, you're just trying to get there as fast as possible, and stop.
Yeah, and it's not helping like to rub with anything because it's just coming across as kind of a not to be offensive to everyone from that loves the Attitude Era, but it was like the World Championship back in the Attitude Era. It moved around a lot.
The one thing about that time frame for the world title,
it also worked because of the storylines that were going on.
Storylines, and you had so much top talent.
Right.
There was 1 year that title changed hands 12 times in 1 year.
Exactly.
Which in any other time of the frame, it would have destroyed that prestige and its importance.
But most of those changes were very dirty finishes,
which also just shows. But I mean, Vince has shown us in the past recently that he can just diminish his titles, his main titles' importance simply by just not having it on show up for several months, by putting it on someone who works 3 times.
Doesn't show up all that often.
And he's also shown he can make it so a new championship never looks important, like the Universal,
by putting it on somebody who never shows up.
Oh no! But having it be a big red licorice strap.
Oh yeah.
And then putting on someone who doesn't show up for all the time. But
yes.
So I want to go really focus on Charlotte's title reigns.
Okay.
Because it really goes through. Because I have all the dates.
Good.
I have the numbers of how long each reign was.
So
because there was a big thing that she pointed out, like how she's putting her back down, laying on her back to put other people over, and stuff to help make stars. Kind of. But she's not wrong on some of these things, because
that's
when
true.
you look at her last few women's title reigns, they're not very long.
No.
So, but we'll get to that when we get there. So, let's look at her very first women's title win. Which is the NXT Championship, the second ever.
Yes.
She won it on May 29th, 2014.
2014. So when did she start wrestling?
And she signed in 2012.
Wow, so 2 years in.
Yes. So, then she dropped it in February 11th, 2015. A combined of 258 days.
Impressive.
Which in NXT, as we've seen, title reigns actually mean something.
Yes.
Io's on one of the longest reigns since Asuka and Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler went over a year.
Wow.
For her last reign. I think that was because Charlotte had a shorter reign than they expected. I think they were trying to make up with a longer. I think Io should have not had this long a reign. But it is what it is. Anyway, so 258 days for that reign. Her next one was the Divas Championship. She won in September 20th, 2015. Same 2 championships.
Same year.
Same year. She went on to...
She started the year holding gold, ended the year holding gold.
She dropped the Divas Championship on April 3rd, 2016.
Okay.
Because that is when it became the Raw... Well, what would become the Raw Women's Championship in a year when they did the brand split and everything. But it was the Women's Championship.
Okay.
No, it's no longer... Divas are gone. It's a bad branding. Women's Championship.
Women it is.
So, while I recognize the Divas and the Women's as one long reign.
Yes.
Because the way the announcement happened is it's no longer the Divas Championship, it's Women's Championship.
I also kind of feel the same way because it went from the Women's Championship to the Divas Championship.
Actually, it didn't.
They retired the Women's Championship.
What they did is they unified them and it just kept the Divas.
So yeah, that lineage would continue on through the Divas then.
No,
because of a unification.
No, because what they did was at the time the Divas champion they picked the Divas lineage as the continuation. They still acknowledged the old women's championship reigns.
Yes,
but they didn't add them on to it. They're not referred to as Divas championship reigns. They're still referred to as women's.
I would have just whatever,
but
that way when you move the name back to being the women's championship, all you're doing is just moving the name.
Yes, but also the thing is though, the women's, the WWE women's, and not the Raw one specifically.
Yeah.
If you look at the reigns, it starts with Charlotte. And they did not bring those other ones, which it's weird. I get it. Which would make sense if they were going to be two separate championships.
Yeah.
You would bring back that old lineage and just continue it there.
Yes.
But no, they start with a new lineage. It's weird. So while it's recognized as its own, I see it as one, so it doesn't count as two. But since they're technically counting as two different reigns, we kind of have to.
Meh.
It doesn't. The way the announcement was made and the flow. If Charlotte dropped the belt,
yes,
at WrestleMania, and Becky or Sasha won it, then she won it immediately back. That would have been one thing, but they didn't.
Well, I mean, also I kind of feel that if you would transfer champions and said that whoever won tonight will win the women's championship, will be the first WWE women's champion.
See, they did both.
Oh, God damn.
When Lita revealed the belt, she said the winner this is no longer the Divas Championship. It will be the women's championship. The opening matches, the winner of this match will be the first women's champ. It's the weirdest, like, they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with it within the same show. Because the way they announced it on the pre-show it's becoming the women's championship.
Yeah, we're rebranding the championship.
But because it's recognized it's a separate one.
All right, fine.
So that Divas Championship reign was 196 days.
Not bad.
Then you have the women's championship reign from April 3rd, 2016 to July 25th, 2016. 113 days. I did not do the math to combine those two, how long she actually was full on championship, but long.
Yep.
Then she won the belt again on August 21st and dropped it October 3rd. This is when the Sasha exchange begins. For 43 days.
Where every time she wins, it's at the pay-per-view.
Yep.
But then Sasha wins during the week.
Yep.
It's weird.
The next, wait, hold on. That makes no sense.
Ha ha.
This goes. Okay, never mind. Yeah. So the July to she dropped it. She picked it back up on August 21st to October. She then won it again.
Into the microphone.
Yeah, sorry. She then won it again on October 30th and dropped it on November 28th for 29 days reign.
Okay, makes sense.
She then won it back on December 18th and dropped it to Bayley on February 13th, 2017 for 57 days.
Okay, yep.
So that alone in 2016 had 5 technically championship reigns.
Jeez.
Because if you're going to keep the Divas as a separate title reign,
yep,
it counts. Then she would go on to, in 2017, in November 2014, a long stretch before she won the SmackDown Women's Championship. Where she then dropped it on April 10th, 2018. I can't remember who. I didn't write that one down.
Yeah.
Then she won it back on August 19th and dropped it September 19th to 27 days. I believe that was to Becky.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's leading to Becky, I believe.
What year are we up to?
August 19th. This is 2019.
Okay. So yeah, that is the build to August.
No, this is 2018. Yeah, we're still in 20. No, we're in 2018.
Okay. Yeah,
So, my
we're
bad.
starting the
Yeah.
build to
Because-
Becky.
No, this is Becky. This was when Becky, because she won it at SummerSlam and then lost to Becky at the next pay-per-view.
Okay.
Um,
Oh no. This is starting to build to the man, Becky.
no, this is already the man, Becky. Becky,
This
the
was
man,
already-
came after she won the belt on September
Okay.
in 2018. Then we have the next title reign is on March 26th, 2019, dropping it April 8th to Becky in that six-man tag because she beat Asuka again for the SmackDown Women's title after Becky dropped the belt to Asuka in the TLC triple threat match with Charlotte in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then she regained it on May 1st, 2019, on the 19th, and dropped it the same night for a total of 1 day because Bayley cashed in her Money in the Bank.
Good job, Bailey.
Thank you, Bayley. And then only led to her beating Bayley again on October 6th to drop it back to Bayley on October 11th for a total of 4 days.
4 days.
Then her last singles championship reign, we all know, the botch of the NXT Women's Championship,
Yeah.
beating Rhea Ripley, halting her push in her overall growth, in a sense.
Yeah.
On March 26, 2020, dropping it to Io Shirai without taking the pin or submission for on June 7th, 2020, for a total of 63 days. So, to break down these numbers,
Yeah.
because I have not only the numbers, so that's a total of 973 days. This is also counting the tag team championship days of last week when I did this math. So
Yeah, the tag team
so
shouldn't
30
count.
days plus 30 days total for all championship reigns she's had total.
Okay.
All
All right.
So that's 980
980.
because we have 7 days since the last time I did this.
Oh, yeah.
So 980 days of championship reigns in 6 years. So here's what that breaks down to.
Damn.
Actually,
Yes.
she started May 17th, 2012.
Okay.
That's 3,169 days. 8 years, 8 months, 2 days. This is of the last week. That's 104 months and 2 days. That is 273,801. No, my bad. Wow, I cannot read millions apparently.
Okay.
That is 273,801,600 seconds. That
Okay,
is 4,563,360 minutes. 76,056 hours, as I said, 3,169 days, 452 weeks plus 5 days plus whatever
Yeah.
of her total career. She's been champion 6 years of the
Okay.
8.
So, not just that, for the years part really doesn't fully lends itself justice to the Charlotte just keeps winning over and over again, more often than not, the championship, and then dropping it relatively quickly because it's less than a third of the number of days
Yep.
that she has been wrestling,
Yep.
that she's actually been holding the belt.
Yep. She does have some major lengthy title reigns,
Right.
but the last few, it just feels like they put the belt on her because they need to give her an extra reign
It's
so they
been
can to speed her up towards that 16 times.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting and having it over multiple years.
Or, I mean, every once in a while, like, you have her hold the belt for a while, and then she goes through a spurt with a new competitor
Yep.
where she drops the belt, picks it back up, drops the belt, kind of does a Sasha.
Yeah.
If you want to build somebody up that they kind of, you're not sure if they always have their number or not.
Yeah.
It's a very quick jump back and forth between them for like 4 or 5 in a row. And then so-and-so has to go away for a little while. And one of the two gets a longer championship run out of the final.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just, I feel like the reason why they're rushing this, ultimately comes down to because she is a woman.
Yes.
Because they don't know when she may want to settle down, have a family.
I mean, there's
engaged,
that.
She's engaged to Andrade Almas.
There is that factor, and it is kind of a sexist factor.
It is.
But at the same time, like, it is a valid
It's a
thing regarding women's wrestling.
It is, but at the same time, it's like because they are so determined to have her break that record.
Yes. See, that's the problem that I have with it. It's like, you don't have to do that.
Because if that's the goal, and Charlotte decides to not, when she finally decides to settle down, like she gets married and just want to have kids, if she wants to have kids,
if she wants to,
and she has her first kid and decides not to come back, and you weren't able to achieve that, her career is ruined because she's. I'm not saying it's overall this is the reason, but I mean
also the possibility, like they are really just being like, look, if we can do this before either she wants to leave and retire, or whatever her choice is, or injury.
Yeah,
because sadly, women's wrestlers, first of all, have a shorter career.
Yes.
Through either their own choices or injury.
Yep.
Like, God damn it, I hate saying in any way that women are weaker than men, but women are prone to ACL tears.
Yes, they are.
And it happens.
Look at Nixon Newell.
I mean,
she's torn her ACL 3 times now.
Women's basketball.
Yep.
Pretty much every women's professional sport, the career is shorter.
Yeah.
You do get the outliers where you're like, damn, it's been 20 years. You're still out there. Go for it. Just go.
So it's one of those things where, I can understand that, but at the same time, it's just like...
See, I would love for Flair to be that one that you're like, that we're looking at it going, it is almost 2040, girl. You still out there?
Yeah.
Get some.
She can still have a family and be wrestling afterwards.
Exactly.
And if she chooses not to, and she doesn't get that 16-time championship record, oh wow, that's her decision. But I have a feeling if she knows that's the goal, I have a feeling if she decided to have a kid, take some time off, and then come back, she would come back to accomplish that.
Yeah.
And if she knew that was the goal and just then still decided not to, that's her decision.
Exactly.
It's then how you decide to spin that legacy.
But for me anyway, my only complaint is she's getting the same treatment that I feel that, I mean, I was too young and innocent to notice it, that Hogan got.
Yep.
That I kind of started to notice right around, I was still too young and innocent to even understand what was going, that Lex Luger got.
Yeah.
That John Cena got.
Yep.
That Roman Reigns got.
Yep.
Which was, she just kept being put into the main event picture over and over and over again. We're not saying that, yes, clearly she won a lot, but it's rotate your cast in the main event, people.
She has been in every single women's championship matchup at WrestleMania.
What the?
Some kind of championship matchup at WrestleMania.
Look, I'm going to be honest. She doesn't always need to be there.
No. And that's the other thing where it's like, she points out how she's never injured. Great.
Good for you. Congratulations for you.
And normally I would say, yes, that you should be at the top. That alone you should be pushed. But because you're already pushing to that level, you don't need to be in the main event of every single storyline. You don't need to be having the championship every fucking year since you've been on them. Since you won gold.
No.
You can have a year where you don't win championship. It'll lead to a better story so when you actually do win championship. Like the last time John Cena won championship gold, we were actually happy and excited for it because, yes, Cena was beating AJ Styles for it, but we remember their SummerSlam matchup.
Yeah.
And that was a classic.
That was an amazing match.
And their championship matchup was an amazing match.
It was a damn good match.
Sure, AJ lost, but it was still a very good matchup.
Yes.
And no one was disappointed that AJ lost Because
Cena turned it up.
Not just Cena turned it up, but he put AJ over first.
Yes.
So it was fine. And in enough time, we didn't have like 3 more matches.
No.
Back to back.
No, he just put him over.
He put him over. That was the last matchup. Then Royal Rumble comes in. Yeah, he did the whole "I'm John Cena, I'm going right to the top" thing. But that was a play off of his whole what everyone is saying he does in the past.
Which
it was great. It fit.
Which is great too, because Goldberg literally did that.
Yeah. But it was a more interesting story.
Yes. One quick off to the side regarding Goldberg. Mm-hmm. You know how he cut it was through a promo where he came out and he was Drew McIntyre was supposed to cut a promo.
Yep.
It got cut off.
Yeah, because they're running out of time.
Right.
But they kept Goldberg's promo that was all based on what
yes,
McIntyre.
It was a complete, because McIntyre was basically supposed to say, there's no one out there and there's no one for a challenge for me.
Yep.
And Goldberg was supposed to be like, I'll be your challenge. The problem is, Goldberg's coming out and Goldberg's like, I'll be your challenge. It's like, whose challenge?
And he said, like, you insulted the legends.
He didn't
actually say
I didn't even
anything.
get to say anything.
But it was just like,
But Goldberg immediately inserts himself at the top. I'm like,
yep.
that's for me, the biggest complaint. I don't enjoy seeing people immediately come back from something and get thrown into, like, I have no problem. Nua wrestling. I had Uncle Freddie come back. What did I do? Yes, I put him in the main event picture, but what he had to do was he had to win a number of matches between 2 and 3.
Yep.
If he had won 3, whatever. Between 2 and 3 over a 6-week period. Mm-hmm. So he got a chance to go after the championship again.
Yeah.
This was also 2 pay-per-views, so 14 weeks after his injury.
Yes.
He would get another chance. And I'm like, the way that my system works, it's a little bit faster.
So, true. And also, like, with Becky Lynch, if she decides to come back after having given birth.
Yeah.
I'm
saying a when.
She said if she was put in the big title picture, I can make an exception for Becky. Why? Because she never lost the belt.
Yes.
When you never lose the belt, it's an automatic reason to go right back to it. It's what fighters do. If you're a champion and you get injured and you can't do it and you do an interim, once you're able to fight,
you fight the interim champion.
You're fighting the interim champion.
Whoever that is.
Yes. So it makes sense. So I can understand that. But if Becky did drop the belt, then announced her pregnancy, then came back, went right into the title picture, I'd be like,
without facing anyone else.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I've missed you. I'm kind of happy, but at the same time, do you deserve? Well, in the moment when I say yes, probably. Because she's back. We want to see her with gold again. But at the same time, ultimately, we would come back to
you gotta have a couple of matches.
Just because you're Becky Lynch doesn't mean you get to come back and demand a title shot.
Yeah.
Because then we're being
I kind of like the idea that people coming back, especially former champions coming back, should at least be able to start challenging the number 1 contender, the current number 1 contender.
Yes.
And I like the idea of a number 1 contender.
Oh, but wait, there's no number 1 contender unless you have a number 1 contender matchup. And that's usually 2 weeks before the pay-per-view in WWE these days.
Yeah, I know.
Where in AEW, you always have a number 1 contender.
It's funny. I'm actually complaining about a number 1 contenders match happening 2 weeks before the championship match. And I'm about to do that. Nua is about to have a number 1 contender match, and then 2 weeks later, the big one.
So, but like, yeah, it's one of those things. But getting back to Flair, it's like, let's just, how are we doing on time?
We got about 5 minutes.
How long has it been going for?
About 40.
Okay. I wanted to keep these under about 30, but we got a rough start. We'll work on this one.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
But it's just going back to her overbooking. Before she left to take her time off, surgery, whatever the reason why she ended up leaving.
Exactly.
She was on 3 shows.
Yes.
And we didn't want her on. Basically, we wanted to go away altogether, and they were overbooking her. It just goes to show you that no one cared. They were burned out on Charlotte. And then immediately when you did it with Sasha and Bailey on 3 shows. Not as often as Charlotte, but they did go to all 3 shows.
Yes.
No one fucking cared that they were there because it was the fact that we were finally saying there's no one to push them down anymore.
Right.
They actually had to rely on these 2.
Exactly.
And they told an amazing story, even though they pushed off the original time frame for it.
Whatever.
But that was just kind of because they had to think wait, this is our only storyline.
Yes.
And then now we have Charlotte, who came back, immediately wins the tag titles, went on to another show, 2 shows. Thanks to they have not gone back to SmackDown lately.
Ooh, okay.
But immediately did go to SmackDown for 2 shows. And now the tag titles are seemingly mean nothing because she's now feuding with Lacey Evans, who's apparently sleeping with her dad. Yeah, because Ric Flair messed up and caught Charlotte's ankle trying to get I think it was Lacey, and she got rolled up. So Flair yelled at her dad, to stay out of her business. The next week, same thing happened, only Flair did it on purpose, and it was Flair's work.
Look,
and Ray Lacey's calling her daddy.
There are some issues that I have regarding age play within the WWE, and they've been doing this for a long time. Lacey Evans is like in her 20s.
I actually think she's closer to her 30s.
Still.
Oh, it's better.
Rick is in his 70s.
Oh, it's better. It's better.
Yeah?
It's better.
What?
Lacey is married and has a daughter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's joking, like Wrestle Talk jokes at the storyline, but that's really what they're hinting. That's the
storyline.
If you look at it just a little bit and just add that sexual innuendo
element
to what's going on. No, it's not. You don't have to try that hard to like. Oh, even if they're not saying that, and there's no tending to do that, but they're leaning it's so easy to lean there. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hard not to with Ric Flair's history.
Exactly.
So we have nothing. There's nothing wrong with Charlotte. Luke Owens, to wrap this all up.
Lukewarm Luke Owens?
Yes, from Wrestle Talk.
Okay.
He did a thing on Wrestle Talk where he's like, "Is Charlotte good?" And he explores Charlotte's career and how is she good.
Yeah, I would have to say she is.
He came to the conclusion, yeah, she is good, and I agree with that in her. But the thing is, I came away from that video saying, you are overlooking so much in this video because one of his big points was everyone seems to have their best match with Charlotte. Becky has their best match. Sasha has a big match. Bailey, all these top people who can work, Asuka, have their best match with Charlotte. And it comes off as it's because of Charlotte, not ever crediting the other people. Now
it could be the other way around.
Now knowing Luke and knowing wrestling. I doubt that's what he was saying.
Right,
but
right.
It came off as they had the best match because Charlotte was in the match. Yes, it's a common feature because she is good, but so is them. Sasha, Becky had some amazing.
So is them.
Yes, I'm gonna go.
Wow.
With it. Becky has some great matches with Sasha.
Yes.
She had some great matches with Bailey.
Bailey's best matches with Sasha.
Yeah.
Sasha
had a great match with Bailey. Becky had a great match with Asuka.
Yes.
It's to say it's Charlotte. It's the reason.
You have a very good talent pool at the top of that women's division.
But you're only using 2 of them on the end, and the other people you want to push to get to that level, like Lacey Evans, who could be there someday.
Yes.
You keep shoving down our throats because she's fucking blonde.
Yep.
Instead of letting her grow, and she's turned twice in a year.
Oh, and Carmella.
Carmella, again, someone who has gotten better in the ring.
Yes.
Characterized, she's already better than her first heel run as champion, but because you keep shoving them out when you have other talent like Naomi, who is being wasted.
Yes.
You have younger talent like Peyton Royce, who is absolutely excellent. Not using. Where's Nikki Cross in all this since her breaking up with Alexa Bliss? Oh, that's right. WWE doesn't ever care with her. If Alexa Bliss never just went and pitched working with Nikki, she never would have been used in the way she was.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Alexa Bliss is blonde,
Yeah.
and Alexa Bliss has grown and everything, and it's really good. I'm glad.
I'm starting to enjoy her newest character.
Yes. I enjoyed the Nikki's cross stuff, especially the storyline where it started off. She's using Nikki, and they became best friends.
Yes.
Instead of the typical storyline of the Alexa's been doing for years. She uses you to keep the gold on her. And that's what she was kind of going to do this time. But Nikki's so lovable that she liked her, and they became actual friends.
Yeah.
And then the Fiend thing happened, which was great.
Yeah.
But again, so we're going to wrap this all up. It's nothing against Charlotte Flair personally, but we're just sick and tired of how she's booked.
Yes.
And always at the top and
Yes.
overused. Despite other talent. She's feuding with Lacey Evans, who's another person they want to get over. That's why she's feuding with Charlotte. But ultimately, Charlotte is going to win that feud.
Yes.
And it looks like Asuka, who's being overlooked, will drop the belt probably to Alexa Bliss, which I'm fine with overall. If Alexa Bliss was going to, Asuka was going to be taken seriously as a challenger, and Alexa Bliss just happens to get, with her new Fiend character, was able to beat her.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's been a while since Alexa Bliss has held World Championship Gold, only to have her drop it to Charlotte, because she's got to be the one to defeat the Lady Fiend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Goldberg, like Reigns was supposed to be the Fiend. I know you're just like, shut up. What are we at?
You're a minute over now.
40 minutes.
No, a 46.
That's fine. 50 is like the max anyway. Anyway, we're done with our topic on Charlotte. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about Charlotte again because WWE always seems to find new ways to shove her down our throats. But when you made it to the end of this video, give us a thumbs up. You kind of liked our conversation. And give us a thumbs up to let us know you want us to continue.
Damn right.
It says right next there. Go hit that subscribe button.
Ding.
Ring that bell.
Ding, ding.
Make sure you turn on all notifications so you know when all as the Buckle Turn podcast episodes go live, as well as Zop Gaming content. Adam?
Yes.
I actually like this new format.
It's not bad.
By the way, your face. Get bent.